It's another story therapy session, and I'm super happy, excited, and proud to be here. And today we're going to be talking about what are we going to be talking about? Really, I'm going to be talking to you all about how do we put it today? We're still talking about stigma, and very quickly, I'm going to share with you another thing that you need to take note of, when we think about stigmas and stigmatization. Recall that this month of March is the stigmas and stigmatization series. We defined stigma as any identity or trait that exposes someone to shame, abuse, or discrimination, or marginalization, or some kind of exclusion, right? And then we went ahead to talk about um, what the different types of stigmas are. We talked about stigma as a result of environment, stigma as a result of social stigmas. We talked about environmental stigmas. We also talked about, natural stigmas. If you missed those previous episodes, please go back and check. Okay. And I also talked about um, the ways a victim of stigmatization. And I said stigmatization is not stigma. Stigmatization is the attitude that that comes from people or that comes from you as a behavior that comes from others to you because you have a stigma, or the behavior that you do, you like what the attitude you give yourself when you are experiencing or you have a stigma. And so today I'm going to be answering two questions. The very first question today is, what do I do when I am living with someone that continuously stigmatizes me and I cannot go or leave them? What do I do? So the lesson today is, when you are living with people or someone who constantly stigmatizes you and you cannot leave, is to do this. Know for sure that everything for your mental health. I want you to understand that everything for your mental health. I don't know how best to frame that, but do what would help you to stay alive, to stay sane, and not go crazy. Because when you drop dead, one thing is sure, people would mourn you, people will cry. But guess what? People are going to move on. People are definitely going to mourn you, but they will move on. So think about your experience with someone that is probably stigmatizing you right now in that way, and ask yourself, if you stay in that relationship, in that family ship, in that friendship, in that workship, whatever kind of ship it is, whatever kind of interpersonal dilemma that might be, ask yourself, do I deserve to be here? Do I want to be here? Will being here help me stay sane? Will being here keep me alive? Will being here make me happy? Will being here allow me to live another day without contemplating suicide or without actually carrying out that act? If your answer to these questions is a no, you need to ask yourself, what options are then available to you as you plan your exits, either from that work setting or from that academic environment or that relationship or family, family or whatever it is. You need to ask yourself, what options are available unto me? Okay. So one of the options that you can think or explore is to leave. Living is never easy when you know, you are already attached to that environment. So, for example, if you are attached to a boss who stigmatizes you by saying things like, first class ara yin gan amokoko, pẹ̀lú first class tẹ́ ẹ mú jáde náà, ibi náà lẹ́wà, ẹ tí ẹ kúrò lójú kan náà. You know, like your boss says something like, with your first class degree, you're still here. You can't even leave this job. And you always complain about the salary. If you didn't want it, why did you take the job? If you think there are better options, why are you still here? They make you feel like there is no abundance in the universe. They make you think that you deserve less. They stigmatize you. And because you're afraid of being broke, jobless, or unemployed, you stay. But guess what? What if tomorrow on your way to work, you lose your mind and then you walk into a moving car? Your boss would not miss you. A boss would replace you as quickly as you got that job. There's a replacement for you. Understand that. People would always find replacement for us because when you're expendable, you're just there because you're serving their narcissistic need. And they always find replacement as quickly as possible. You do not deserve to be in that kind of stigmatizing, toxic, and work setting. I know it's hard to leave. So here are three things you can do, whether it's a workshop, organizational dilemma, or interpersonal dilemma. This is what you can do. One thing you can do right now is to immerse yourself in content that tells you that you're good, you're awesome, you're amazing, you are the best version of God's creation, you are the highest form of God's creation. Immerse yourself, soak yourself in listening to things that will change your vibration so that even while you're in that toxic work setting, you become immune to what your boss or people are saying to you. You change your energy and begin to express and experience joy in chaos. You experience peace in the midst of the nonsense. That's one way to cope if you cannot leave immediately. Change your vibration. Believe and tell yourself that this situation is good. Tell yourself that this adversity would go. It will fade away by itself. Enjoy the fact that you are alive and you get the chance to experience that pain, and that you then use that as an opportunity to tell a story that has never been told, to give a message that has never been given, to help others understand what it feels like to be in that kind of situation and how they can possibly live. Another thing you can do is write about everything. Write every day, every pain, everything your boss says, everything that mother says, that your friend says, everything that your partner says, everything. Write it, document it, and thank God for that chaos. Document everything, write everything, make a story out of it, make a book out of it, write your pain. Write it in a journal. And if you're bold enough, make into a book. And if you're bold enough, publish it. And if you're bold enough, sell it. And if you're bold enough, invite people to become publishing partners. And if you're bold enough, make a movie out of that story. Create content out of it. Do a podcast out of that pain. You see, one of the fastest ways to heal from whatever stigma or stigmatization you might be experiencing right now is to make a movie out of it. Making a movie out of it does not necessarily translate into a motion picture or a movie literally. I mean, enjoy it. That's the idea. When we watch a movie, We enjoy that movie, right? We relish that moment of having to watch a great movie. Make a movie out of your pain, make a movie out of that chaos. Change the script, rewrite that script, and do something good out of that situation. And the next thing you want to do is plan your exit. In planning your exit, maybe you need to begin to learn a skill without that, boss even knowing. Learn that skill and let put it to them that you will thrive even in the midst of that chaos. Learn a new skill so they know that even despite the chaos, despite the drama, you're going to live strong, powerful at the end of the day. Okay? Another thing you want to do is if you need to save money, begin to save money. If you need to ask for help, you need to begin to think about those you can talk to, because you cannot walk this kind of messiness on you can't walk the path, that journey by yourself. You would need to talk to people. You would need help. You will need help. And so, one, don't forget that you can change your vibration in the midst of the chaos. That's the first thing you can do when you cannot leave, at least not yet. Two, journal your pain, write your way through healing. Write it. Write. And the next thing you want to do while you're writing is to thank God, because thank God for that adversity. Tell yourself, this is good. This is beautiful. Because see, when you say what you say is what you get. When you keep talking about how good this difficult time is, before you know it, you will begin to experience more of joy and less of pain. You just find yourself happy, and your pain would no longer exist. You will just be joyful. One, don't forget to what? To change your vibration. Two, don't forget to write about it. Three, don't forget to thank God for that adverse situation because it is good. Four, do not forget to begin to plan your exits. And in planning your exit, if you need to learn a skill, if you need to save money, if you need to ask people for money so that you can at least plan your exit, if you need to change location, do it. And lastly, lastly, guess what? Leave. Leave. If you to cost my peace, I will take my leave. If you no get money, do not disturb me, peace. And so as we leave this session today, I'm gonna play you a song. But before I play you that song, I'm gonna read a section from my book, The Unseen Scars of Stigma. I'm gonna read just something quickly to you. I'm going to read something to you quickly, and then we go. It says, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. I was losing my mind when I can't speak of it. The situation was completely frustrating. So I began to take solace in the fact that an international study opportunity could give me the better life I wanted. So I began to look out for study abroad opportunities. I had sent a couple of applications here and there, but I wasn't making headway. I never got selected. I was looking for a fully funded scholarship. So one day, a trusted friend forwarded a link from a scholarship community to me. I began to make my findings. I got in touch with the contacts. I was getting positive feedbacks, and I was really excited that I began to whisper to myself, "Yes, Bisola, you're getting this." I didn't want to lose this chance. I was even too blind to see the loopholes in the so-called golden opportunity. I'm going to move on to another part. So, do not worry much about people who don't believe in your dream. There isn't much you can do about them. There is always a dream worth dying for. Never let go of that dream. While you try to endure every scar from your stigma, cling to your dream. Let it inspire you to live. Even if you're daily crucified, it's yours to nurture. While you hold on to this dream, be sensitive, especially if you are made offers from people. Don't make desperate moves so as not to get frustrated. If you need to speak to someone about your dream, talk to someone. I have walked that path and it can get really frustrating. Even when the dreamer fails, don't condemn. Don't remind them the number of times they have failed. Support blindly, even if you can seem to be able to predict when their victory will come. It will come. I assure you, it will. And so, before we leave here today, I'm going to play you this song, Adekunle Gold, Do Not Disturb Me, Please. Let's hope that would work. Adekunle Gold, if it will cost my peace. Adekunle Gold, my peace. Let's play that song. So the song is going to play and I'm going to increase the volume. But while you listen to that song, I want you to remember that you can become a publishing partner with us at the Left Handers International Organization. You can donate to have more of these books put out there for people, or people who need to be supported by the great work that we're doing. And the way to do that is simply by going to our website or going through my personal website, www.solamiriam.com, and you can be routed to a page where you can join and support this great work that we're doing. So I'm going to go play that song and then we'll enjoy the song together. Thank you. Hold on. People we know they feed you. Always the first to talk about your life. Look at the irony. Give you for public on the bed you outside. Don't get it twisted though. I know the east as that shit is not healthy. Keeping my distance. Some people are watch that pandemic. People lost my peace. And I will take my leave. If you know me money, do not disturb me, please. If you go cost my peace, and I'm the chefy sheet, oh. If you know me money, do not disturb me, please. Man is a road, it is what it is. My bell, hey, it is what it
Now when I get money, I realize hey, but I know be hypocrite. I did pray make you get to your own too. See my time so never last. Let me know my last. Oh, life comes at you so fast. Small time you don't become what you hate. Yeah, live your life on your own. No one will do for nobody. When I be happy for me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You live your life on your own. No energy for nobody. No one say that man I don't see you. If you go touch my peace, then I go take my leave. If you no be money, do not disturb me, please. If you go touch my peace, that's how my friends say shit. Oh. If you no be money, hey, do not disturb me, please. It is what it is. Hey.
Thank you so much for joining today's episode. Thank you so much for joining to this episode of the Story Therapy series. If you have questions you want us to answer that relate to childhood trauma, toxic relationships, interpersonal, organizational relationships, or if there is something you want us to talk about or advocate for, or perhaps you need legal support, counseling, or whatever, please feel free to reach out, send a DM, send a message, or simply just visit my website, and you'll be routed to a page that leads you to our website. My website is www.bisolamiriam.com. And of course, you can always comment, you can always share, you can always tell people about these kind of information. And I love you all. Abundance is here, there is no lack. Remember, you matter, and God is trusting on you to live a great life full of abundance.